Well, we have the potential for some strong storms late Wednesday ahead of a cool front, which will drop the temperatures for tomorrow. Smoke could return to our skies, though, for Thursday, and then we're talking about a heat wave ahead, temperatures potentially in a string of 90s starting Saturday. So we do have a slight risk, level 2 out of 5 of severe weather across most of eastern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. Includes the Twin Cities all the way up to Duluth and the North Shore. The main threats are going to be from some high wind gusts, damaging wind gusts, and some large hail potential. Ahead of that front, it's going to be steamier as well, upper 80s to low 90s across southern Minnesota. It's also going to get muggier. We'll see if we can pull off 90. It would be the 24th of the season. But if we don't today, we have several more chances ahead, as you'll see starting this weekend. It's also pretty windy out there. Wind gusts this afternoon are going to be 30 to 40 miles an hour out of the southwest ahead of that front really putting a squeeze on the atmosphere. And as I mentioned, it is going to get muggier, and the dew points are going to be critical today. Always is in a severe weather situation, but we're in a really kind of a conditional severe weather situation. If the dew points aren't quite high enough, we might be a little capped longer, might take more difficulty to get the storms developed farther south. But the dew points do drop. It is more comfortable tomorrow temporarily as well. And we're going to see the potential again for those high wind gusts because we got some dry air in the middle layers of the atmosphere. It's about 10,000 feet up, and also a bit of a mid-level jet streak, some strong winds moving into mid-level. So you get that dry, fast-moving air hitting the back of these storms that do develop along the front, and that's the recipe for some pretty high wind gusts to get pushed down to the surface. So there is that potential for damaging wind gusts over 60 miles an hour, some of those downburst winds and storms that do develop later this evening into the early overnight. So we'll be watching for that. And then tomorrow will be breezy, but out of the northwest as cooler, drier air moves in. So you can kind of see that cool front. It's a band of clouds moving into North Dakota, but also to the west of that, separately, we'll be talking about in a minute too. See that gray haze? That's more wildfire smoke that will also be coming in behind this cold front. But notice the difference in the storms here. This is 9 p.m., two different models, two different scenarios, and the difference is all in terms of how much moisture there is and how strong that cap is or that layer of warm air aloft. That can prevent from storms from bubbling up or at least slow down that process. So that's what we're going to be watching pretty carefully this afternoon to see what is the cap strength, how warm are those temperatures aloft, and also how much moisture can we actually get. The NAM model is more humid, more widespread than the HRR rapid update model, and also has slightly cooler air aloft, and it makes a big difference, a degree or two difference in the dew point in those mid-level temperatures. These are some convective temperatures. NAM model only 93 degrees. Easy for a cold front to break through that, but the model with the warmer air aloft and slightly drier dew points, it's substantially more difficult. So, a bit of a question: how much is that cap strength later today that could lead to storm development? Cooler though tomorrow, upper 70s behind the front, pretty much statewide. But again, we're going to be watching the smoke. There's a lot of smoke into Canada right now, just to our north, that could be kind of sucked in behind that cold front tonight into tomorrow. So, Minnesota Pollution Control Agency is watching that very carefully. We've been seeing air quality levels over 300, which is super high, very unhealthy into Canada. So, the forecast for Thursday, whole northern half of the state, much of central Minnesota, unhealthy for everybody, and orange category for southern Minnesota, including the Twin Cities, which is unhealthy for sensitive groups. And then it's going to be heating back up. Saturday, we're looking highs into the 90s, and that might set us up for a string of 90-degree plus days. Models do differ, though, on the extent of that heat wave. How long will it be, and how hot will it be? We might get some breaks in it, but overall, it does look like a hot pattern starting Saturday into next week that might have a few breaks. So enjoy tomorrow if you don't like the heat. It's going to be a cooler day, but also hazy with some of that wildfire smoke potentially moving back into the area.